Checker flag there, champion.
Good morning from Richmond. Today, the young guns of the K&N Pro Series East get to do battle on the big stage here at Richmond International Raceway. It's round 5 in 2014 on the 3/4 mile oval, the Blue Ox 100. So good to have you with us on this Saturday morning. Supposed to go racing last night, but weather moved us to today in the running of this event that should be outstanding. A 100-lapper here at Richmond. With Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander, and we have got quite a field put together to do battle here on this early morning in Richmond, Virginia. KAITLYN VINCIE will join us from the pit lane momentarily. I talked about the weather much better today than what it was here late yesterday afternoon. 61 degrees as we get set to go green, Phil.
Yeah, a lot of concern down in the garage area for the crew chiefs as we take a look at our East Point standings. The weather's so different than it was last night. The sun's going to come out.
Ben Rhodes leading the championship. He won from the pole at Bristol. On the pole today, Nick Drake. He's with KAITLYN downstairs.
Thanks, Adam. I'm joined by rookie Nick Drake, who's actually on the pole for today's race. Nick, after qualifying, you said you were a little bit surprised with your run because you haven't been the best qualifier so far. So what do you think made the difference yesterday?
I'm not sure. I struggled qualifying all year. This whole stock car thing's new to me. So to go out there and wood off a lap like that and be on the pole, it was pretty surprising.
Now, you're also attempting to make your Richmond debut. How much more confidence do you have starting P1 for today's race?
A lot of confidence. This place came to me pretty quick today, and it's pretty fun so far. So it's one of my favorite tracks that I've been on this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nick Drake's pole marks the 3rd pole so far this season for Bill McAnally Racing. Adam?
And KAITLYN, he likes the big stage. A top 5 run at Daytona earlier this year. As Phil, we look at your storylines.
Yeah, you really want to stay on the bottom. Actually, if you can get your left side tires below the white line, that'll work. And forward drive is always an issue here. It's so easy to spin the tires, and you want to conserve those tires. 100 laps at Richmond is a long way to go on a set of tires.
No question, this is one of the great racetracks in all of NASCAR. These drivers had to wait. Thought they were going to go green late Friday night, but Mother Nature said, nope. We're going to do it on Saturday morning. We're so glad you're with us. It's going to be a good one from Richmond. We get the green flag when we return in the Blue Ox 100. Welcome back to Richmond. Just about ready to go green in the Blue Ox 100. But before we put the green in the air, we go downstairs one more time and hear from KAITLYN VINCIE.
Hey, thanks, Adam. Well, one thing to keep your eye on for today is the fact that this was originally planned to be a night race. Now we are racing Saturday morning. I spoke with Ben Rhodes, crew chief Mark McFarland. He said it's not going to change a whole lot. These cars are going to be a lot freer during the day, but since this is an impound race, they weren't allowed to change anything. The only thing that they could change was air pressure. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the fact that the Cup cars are going to be racing later today, which means there's a lot of Cup drivers and Cup team owners who are going to be watching this race, so it's going to be very important for these K&N guys to have a good run today to potentially impress a future team owner. Adam?
Well, and yeah, we saw Daniel SUAREZ last night racing in the Nationwide Series, so you always want to take advantage when you have an opportunity to make a big impression.
Yeah, you certainly do. You should see Nick Drake on the pole here. His teammate Cole Custer outside him.
Yeah, Custer started 3rd, finished 3rd 1 year ago in this race. Outside the top 10, Eddie McDonald, who won on the short track at Bristol earlier this season.
And there's Daniel SUAREZ back in the 15th spot.
Ryan Gifford going off 27th. He won this race 1 year ago here at the Richmond International Raceway. The only driver in the field today that has a win at Richmond.
You see 3rd-generation driver Trey Hutchins starting back in the 32nd spot.
37 drivers going to get the green flag. The wait is over. After a 12-hour delay, thanks to weather, the Napa car is going to get us going on a Saturday morning from Richmond. We are off and rolling in the Blue Ox 100.
Great start by Nick Drake. We saw Cole Custer spin the tires on the outside. Look, Greg Gaulding looks to the inside of Ben Rhodes. Nothing there.
Are you a little extra patient early in the race field, not knowing exactly what this track is like condition-wise, since we are racing in the morning instead of what they anticipated at night?
Adam, I think normally you would if it was a bunch of Cup guys, maybe so, but these are a bunch of teenagers out here, so, you know, they're chomping at the bit to get going.
Well, and the other thing we should point out, when you go racing in the K&N Pro Series East or West, the races are fairly short. You don't have a lot of time to get your business taken care of.
You really don't, and a lot of the guys that were very, very fast in practice, such as Austin Hill in the 22 car, He was actually the fastest car in the final practice. He went out early and qualified. Everyone said that was a bit of a disadvantage. He starts back in the 21st spot. We're going to have to keep an eye on him, see if he moves forward.
Good battle here. You got Josh Berry, McKenna Bell, and Kaz Grala trying to make a move. He's driving that 45 car. Actually, that's Berry in the 45, Kaz Grala in the 31.
McKenna Bell had a top 5 finish in this race last year, one of her 2 best finishes, both top 5s in the series.
And they're running right behind Eddie McDonald, who was so good in the late stages at Bristol last month.
Well, he really came on at the end of that race, had a great restart there, was able to get by Ben Rhodes to get that win. First one in a long time for Eddie. Ronnie Bassett Jr., the 04 car on the inside of the 33 of Brandon Jones. Ronnie had a great runner-up finish at Greenville last time out for his best career finish here in the series.
Yeah, and Brandon Jones, 2 finishes this season inside the top 10, a couple outside the top 20. Feast or famine so far in 2014 for that 33 team. And right behind them, Lee Pulliam, who started 10th today.
Had a visit with the governor of Virginia this week. He was honored for being the Wheeling national champion for the last 2 years.
He has had an unbelievable career very early on, doing some very positive things. Those top 2 cars have stretched out their lead and continue to make progress to the front. The 04 of Ronnie Bassett Jr. pulling down to the inside of BRODIE KOSTECKI.
Scott Heckert, the 34 car, right in front of that side-by-side battle.
6 laps in at Richmond. Nick Drake started on the pole, jumped out to an early advantage. So we look at the battle for 6. We talked about Heckert and Bassett Jr., BRODIE KOSTECKI in there as well.
You talked about this racetrack and one of the best racetracks, one of the premier racetracks we have in the country. That's why we see side-by-side racing all the way around this racetrack, Adam.
What is so unique about Richmond? It is a short track, but Phil, it's wide. And these straightaways and the shape of this track allow you to build up a lot of speed, which makes it very entertaining for the race fans.
It certainly does. I see a little bit of smoke from Greg Galding's Krispy Kreme car there. Not sure what that is. Maybe it's a little bit of tire smoke.
And Greg Galding comes in thinking about a championship. He's been so good in the early portion of 2014, trying to bounce back from an 11th place finish at Greenville Pickens a couple of weeks ago. His only finish outside the top 10 so far in 2014.
Yeah, had that runner-up finish at Bristol. Still looking for his first win in the East. He won the Phoenix West race last November.
And winning the Phoenix West race earlier this season, Cole Custer, who's running second right now and gaining ever so slightly on Nick Drake. We're just underway in the Blue Ox 100. Pole sitter Nick Drake has the field in tow. Back in Richmond, the Blue Ox 100 in its early stages. Nick Drake started on the pole, has the early advantage. Just over 15 laps in. That's Cole Custer right behind him. And a good battle right around the 10th position. Lee Pulliam is there. You see Jerry Dawson, the lap machine, and they're going around him. That's an unenviable position for the man driving the 55, Phil.
Yeah, certainly. You see Austin Hill, that 22 car. We mentioned the fact that he started all the way back in the 21st spot on lap 17, racing inside the top 10.
And right there with them, Daniel Suarez, who won the first 2 races this season, competed last night in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, making his debut at a top 20 run, and he's not done racing yet this weekend.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to go to the next state. He's going to the next country. He's going to Monterrey, Mexico to run the NASCAR Toyota Mexico Series, where he already has a couple wins this year.
Who said the commute for Nationwide and Cup drivers from Sonoma and Road America in June was a big deal, right?
Exactly.
Well, this is a nice side-by-side battle. This is what Richmond is all about. Austin Hill and that double deuce inside of Lee Pulliam. They're battling for the 9th spot.
Yeah, Austin has a great race car. We mentioned he was the fastest car in happy hour. Now he's made his way all the way up to the 9th spot in just a short period of time.
Closing on 20 laps in a tough little short track, and we are still caution-free, and that's been the one impressive thing about all these drivers early in the season, the fact that they manage these cars and tracks so well and keep things clean on some very difficult racing facilities.
Good run in that battle for 12th. Josh Berry, that's actually a car out of Brad Keselowski Racing Shop right now. Get in front of Daniel Suarez with the 24 car, Brendan Newberry, right behind.
Yeah, Brennan Newberry looking for a good run today. He's coming off that 13th place finish at Greenville Pickens and trying to capitalize because he was 4th at Bristol last month.
Yeah, and he had a runner-up finish to Cole Custer in that Phoenix West race earlier this year.
Certainly a kid that's got some talent. We've seen him in the ARCA Racing Series, also runs in the Camping World Truck Series.
Brandon Jones is another one of those drivers in that 33 car that we will see occasionally in the Camping World Truck Series this year.
And speaking of that, haven't mentioned a lot about Ben Rhodes today, but our winner from Greenville Pickens ran at Martinsville. Solid top 10 finish for him at the Paperclip in his Truck Series debut. Another perfect example of how you can start at the lower levels of racing and work your way up the ladder, just as Nick Drake and Cole Custer are trying to do. Make an impression on the big boys here today.
Yeah, Cole was another one of those drivers that made that start. His debut at Martinsville had a great finish just outside the top 10. Greg Gaulding, another one of the drivers that made his Truck Series debut at Martinsville, and a little bit of close racing there.
Now, Brandon Jones drives it down on the inside of Lee Pulliam, and he nearly got sideways. You could see the hands working inside the race car. They stay side by side as they battle off the corner.
You can see these cars get really, really loose on exit here. We talked about forward drive as one of the storylines. These cars will get freer and freer on exit, and they'll be all the way on the straightaway, and they can still spin the tires and get loose.
Well, and we're now closing here on lap 25, so the car probably starting to take on a little bit of a different attitude than what they started with.
Yeah, and the NASCAR officials would not allow these teams to make any adjustments other than air pressure, as KAITLYN told us. So all these guys were set up for racing at night, and here they are racing in the sunshine.
McKenna Bell getting aggressive. We talked about Brennan Newberry, but Bell going to the inside of him, and there's Daniel Suarez once again. Now he's outside the top 10.
What a great start to the season for Daniel Suarez. Really finished last season so strong.
I mean, how about that stretch of what you consider what he did at the end of 2013 and early 2014, not just in the K&E series, but also the next NASCAR Mexico series. I mean, this kid really has been impressive and obviously turning heads because he got an opportunity to drive for Joe Gibbs here last night.
And that's the beautiful thing about these guys racing these type racetracks. Don't think that the Cup owners aren't watching, Nationwide owners aren't watching what goes on here and looking for some new young talent.
Well, and you mentioned the fact that people are getting opportunities not just to drive for Cup owners, but Josh Berry driving that 45 car out of the Brad Keselowski stables, a Cup driver that is giving back to the lower levels of racing. As we have our first caution, Jerry Dawson, who was caught in some lap traffic earlier, goes around.
Yeah, Jerry's been struggling a little bit with this car. We saw him get lapped there in the middle of a three-wide battle. Let's take a look and see what happens. He's on the inside. Doesn't look like there was any contact. You see Jesse Little, the 97. There's Matt Tiff, the 52, going by.
You also saw the 07 of Clint King driving around the outside as Jerry Dawson went for a spin. He hits the pit lane. We take a break. Good to have you with us on Fox Sports 1. Saturday morning affair for the K&N Pro Series East here from Richmond International Raceway. The Blue Ox 100. First restart of the day as we've cleaned up our first caution. Be interesting to see how pole sitter Nick Drake handles this situation because so far he's led every lap, Phil.
He certainly has. Cole Custer's been good. He's not been able to challenge Nick Drake yet, but these restarts are very, very critical. Obviously, Nick Drake is in charge, but you got to be careful not to spin the tires.
See Chad Finley lining up right behind Nick Drake on that inside lane, making his first career start in the K&N Pro Series East Division here today. Look at Greg Gaulding trying the inside lane, and Finley going inside of Cole Custer, and there's contact as the leaders go off of turn 2.
Yeah, Chad Finley drove that car hard down in the corner to make sure he got in the corner before Greg Gaulding, and then he made contact with a 00 Cole Custer.
Well, and that momentum hurt Finley, allowing Gaulding to get through, and there's more behind him, and now a big crash. Second caution of the day is out. Kinsey Rustin among those involved.
Yeah, Clint King also involved. The 91 of Jordan Anderson just logged a sponsor for this race, Tri Analytics. Unfortunately, looks like he's got a lot of damage. There he is right there. You see Tri Analytics on the hood. Tough break for Jordan, making his second start ever.
This is a perfect example of the mentality of drivers today in NASCAR at all levels. You realize one of the best times to pass is on a restart. They were getting after it.
It's a lot easier. We saw him 3 wide, even thinking about going 4 wide here. Then behind this, we see all the carnage here. Tough break for Kinsey Rustin, the 96 car.
Well, and you hate this for these teams because, as we all know, they don't have a shop full of mechanics and fabricators that can put these cars back together. And so when you have an incident like this that tears up the equipment, you realize really quickly it's going to be some time before you can put the pieces back together and get back on track. As Clint King, good sign, has climbed from his car and assessing the damage. We did see that Jordan Anderson drove away, so he is fine. And movement, and now Kinsey Ruston climbing from that 96 machine. Everybody okay, but unfortunately the race car is pretty beat up as we have our second caution of the day.
Yeah, we saw Clint King get out to go look at the damage. Looks like Kinsey might have been limping there for just a second, but Clint, he gets out of the car saying, I hope the damage isn't as bad as I think it is, but unfortunately it is. There it is behind that 3 and 4 wide racing. Nice job by the 42 of Jay Beasley to get around there. There's Suarez, the 6 going by on the inside.
You know, Ruston had nowhere to go. And you think back to early in the season, and now we've gone to a red flag condition here at Richmond. Ruston started the year back-to-back 6th-place finishes. So much optimism in the 96 camp. What has she done the last couple of races? 22nd at Bristol, 12th at Greenville Pickens, and obviously today here at Richmond, she's not going to get the result she would have liked. Under a red flag in the Blue Ox 100 from Richmond International Raceway. The red flag has been lifted, and we are just about ready to go back under green flag conditions here at Richmond. Nick Drake, the race leader, started on pole, has been out front the entire day. And now we'll see once again what Cole Custer is learning on these restarts and how he handles what will be our second restart, third opportunity to go after Nick Drake here today.
Yeah, Cole had a better restart than he did the initial start, but then he had some contact from Chad Finley, who was trying to beat Greg Gaulding down in the corner. But a good run here for Chad Finley early on here. He has some ARCA experience, has some top 5s, top 10s in some ARCA Racing Series events, but first time ever in the East car.
Keep an eye on Ben Rhodes, starting outside row 2 in that 41 machine. He's been dominant the last couple of races, getting the win at Greenville Pickens just a few weeks ago. Green flag back in the air, and once again, that inside lane prevails. Nick Drake gets the jump as we have problems on the back straightaway for 2-time winner this season, Daniel Suarez, and that will bring out our 4th caution of the day. And as they see the caution, trouble back behind Suarez.
You see several cars involved here. There's Brendan Newberry, the 24 car. There's David Garbo Jr. in the 1 car. John Salemi, the 63 involved.
Well, this is a tough break. And once again, Phil, we get them all bunched up on a restart, very similar to what we saw on that restart just a few moments ago.
Yeah, and the caution flag was actually out for the stalled car of Daniel Suarez, and some guys got together coming off turn 2. You see a little bit of damage on McKenna Bell's car as well.
Don't know what the situation was there with Suarez, but as we were talking about the leaders coming back around to complete their first lap under green, we got the shot of Suarez down the back straightaway who had stalled, and now he's getting a push. So it appears to be some kind of an electrical problem for that 6 machine.
Boy, another tough break for Suarez here after starting out the season so well. He's already lost 1 lap and probably will lose several more.
You mentioned David Garbo Jr. involved in the accident coming off of turn 2. He has been to pit road. No big-time damage on the 1 machine. Here's the replay of what happened.
See, somebody gets turned sideways right in the middle of the racetrack. He actually is able to drive away, but it creates a lot of havoc for the cars behind. Brendan Newberry looks like he got the worst of it. You see the back end of his car all torn up, the 24 car.
Suarez has made his way back down the pit lane, and they will assess what the situation is there. KAITLYN VINCIE in the pits. KAITLYN, what can you tell us about Suarez?
Thanks, Adam. Lap 44. The number 6 car of Daniel Suarez is now on pit road. He is currently getting a battery change. He started 15th, but he's just continually dropped down through the field. He is still on pit road, Adam.
Surprised at all, Phil, that he hasn't been more successful today, given the added track time that he had this weekend running the nationwide race last night?
Well, I think KAITLYN may have touched on it as we see damage repair going on to Brendan Newberry's car. Maybe that battery was going bad, robbing that car of juice, too, so that may be why he was backing up, Adam.
So a tough break, as Phil pointed out, for Daniel Suarez. He goes to the pit lane much earlier than he would have liked. You look at the top 5 as we are a couple of laps away from the midway point of the Blue Ox 100. Nick Drake started on pole, has led every lap. To his right elbow, Cole Custer, who's been right with him but unable to make a pass. And as we get set for the restart, row 2, Chad Finley on the inside, Ben Rhodes on the outside, and keep an eye on Gray Gaulding, that 20 car inside of row 3. He has been aggressive on the restarts today. Green flag back in the air.
Pretty good even restart for the front row.
Yeah, this is the best challenge that Cole Custer has put on all day long. A dead heat as they go off of turn 2. Custer on the outside lane, inside to Nick Drake.
You can make it happen on the outside. You have to keep that driver down on the inside, pinched down where he can't use the whole racetrack. Cole's doing a great job of that.
And Ronnie Bassett Jr. with a great restart has jumped up to 4th. That's Ben Rhodes running 3rd right behind the leaders. Put on point, Cole Custer, new man out front here at Richmond.
A little bit of damage on Josh Berry's 45 car. You see that left front tire rubbing.
Looks like some contact on the restart. We have seen a lot of that today. Currently scored in the 13th position.
There's Sam Hunt, the 18 car, getting by on the inside. And you see Cameron Haley, the 98 car, Matt Tiff, the 52 car, right out in front of these guys.
Anxious times when we put the green flag in the air here at Richmond. The cars are bunched up and everybody going after positions.
Boy, that's a lot of smoke coming from that left front tire, Adam. Oh, somebody into the outside wall.
And that's going to be the 56 car, Akinori Ogata. And it looked like the 4 machine was outside of him as they made their way back down the back straightaway. Our 5th caution of the morning.
Yeah, I don't think Ogata really knew that he was there, and he squeezed Sergio Pena in that 4 car into the outside wall, but a lot of damage on Ogata's car.
10th career start today. First time we have seen him in 2014. And another wrecked race car here at Richmond. It's becoming a theme.
You see that white car is squeezed into the outside wall by Ogata. And that turns him into the outside wall. A lot of damage to the front and rear of that 56 car.
Yeah, a tough break for Pena, who's got plenty of damage himself, coming off a top 10 run at Greenville Pickens Speedway last month. His first top 10 of the year. You saw he's been to victory lane 3 times, but it's not going to happen for him today.
Yeah, damage to the right side and left side of that car.
We're past halfway in the Blue Ox 100 at Richmond. Cole Custer has the race lead. It's been an entertaining morning here in Richmond, Virginia with Phil Parsons. I'm Adam Alexander. KAITLYN VINCIE handling pit and garage coverage. Nick Drake started on pole, led basically the first half of the race. And then on our last restart, Cole Custer, power move on the outside, took the top spot away. And now Nick Drake with an opportunity to try and return the favor. We'll see how he handles business in that outside lane, Phil.
He probably went to school a little bit on how he lost that lead to his teammate Cole Custer. Let's see if he can return the favor.
Also going to have to keep an eye on Ben Rhodes, who has been very strong today, stayed in the top 4 or 5 all morning, but is yet to really get aggressive, which has been impressive. He's played the patience game. And outside of him, Ronnie Bassett Jr., who was really good on that last restart, jumping himself up to 4th.
Yeah, right now, any of these cars up in the top 6-8 spots have been extremely fast. Right now, I think in the 7th spot is Austin Hill. He's made his way all the way up from the 21st starting position. You see the 22 car inside row 4.
And no tire change today for these guys, so the tires could be going away. Puts a little more pressure on the driver as we go back green.
Great restart by Cole Custer from the inside. How about Ben Rhodes now is going to take over the 2nd spot?
And one of the benefits of being able to restart on that inside lane, Ben Rhodes jumps through, takes the 2nd spot away from Nick Drake. The pole sitter now running 3rd. Gray Gaulding getting aggressive. And here they are, 3 wide in the corner behind him.
Heavy racing here. 2 wide all the way back throughout the field. Here you see Jesse Little, that 97 car on the inside. Chad Finley now is going to squeeze him down.
Look at the 52 machine. Matt Tift working the inside lane as they head into turn 1.
He's that car on the inside of Chad Finley in the 29. Now Chad's going to switch back over to the inside, try to get underneath Jesse Little in the 97.
Gotta love the crossover move at a short track. Right in front of them, Scott Heckert. This is a battle for 9th. All of them trying to maintain a position inside the top 10. There goes Jesse Little on the outside. Haven't seen a lot of the outside today, but Jesse Little looking for a little power as we've got a slowed car off the corner. The 18 machine of Sam Hunt has lost a tire maybe. There was debris coming off of that car.
It looks like the front tires are up on that car, though. But he's going to make his way to pit road. We stay green for the moment. I think he does have maybe a right front tire down at him.
Looked like the rubber was flying. We mentioned Ben Rhodes, great on the restart. But we're only a couple of laps in green since we went back under green conditions, and Cole Custer has already stretched his advantage, as now we've got a good battle for the 6th position. Greg Gaulding is there, and here comes Austin Hill.
Yeah, Austin Hill's car has been solid this entire race. See a little bit of smoke out of both those cars as they get down in turn number 1. Downrich Ford, the sponsor on that 22 car of Austin Hill. Austin, a young driver from Georgia. You know, one thing we haven't talked about is NASCAR announced their new next class earlier this weekend. Austin Hill, Greg Gaulding, both those young drivers on that list.
When you think about the youth movement in NASCAR, Kyle Larson's been unbelievable, not just in the Nationwide Series, winning Rookie of the Year last year, but also has been very good early this season. He's a graduate of the K&N East Series. You look at a guy like Dylan Kwasniewski, as there are problems now for the 4 machine of Sergio Pena. He was involved in that last caution that came out, and apparently the damage did not get repaired sufficiently. He's going to have to come back down the pit lane.
Yeah, tough break for Sergio Pena. And don't forget that young driver by the name of Chase Elliott. He's done some pretty amazing things this year.
Back-to-back wins. In his first ever opportunity to race at places like Texas and Darlington, you see all the young guns here so excited about the future of this sport.
Yeah, NASCAR has really done a great job with their ladder system here. This is a great stepping stone onto the Nationwide Series, the Truck Series, and then eventually onto the Cup Series.
Well, and you and I have mentioned the numbers for Cole Custer today. He has won in K&N East competition before, won earlier this season at Phoenix in the K&N West Series. But you know what? He's got a connection to the top. His dad's been around NASCAR for a long time.
He certainly is. His dad, Joe Custer, is one of the upper management of Stewart-Haas Racing, and what an outstanding job they've done over there at Stewart-Haas. Obviously a championship early on, and then this year they've already been to victory lane with their brand new member of the team. Well, actually 2 new members of the team, with Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch.
Well, and Kevin Harvick's won twice at the Sprint Cup level. But he also won last night at Richmond in the Nationwide car. Now, he was driving for Junior Motorsports there, but I wonder if Cole Custer didn't go to work on him. Harvick has always been really good here at the Richmond International Raceway.
It'd be nice to have some advice from the guys that can get it done in any division.
Talked a lot today about that 33 car Brandon Jones. He seems to be in and around the action quite a bit, and here he is trying to work over that back bumper of Greg Gaulding, who currently sits in the 7th position. Gaulding was so good here at Richmond a year ago, leading 53 laps.
Really kind of his coming out party last year. So good. Got to a skirmish on a restart with Corey LaJoie that kept him from a potential victory.
Well, and we talk about Cole Custer today. You know, he was 3rd here a year ago, but he led 24 laps at Richmond last season, so he obviously understands what it's like to make an appearance at the action track, as they like to call it here in Virginia. And a little bump and run there. Greg Gaulding went high. Couldn't tell if there was contact. Jones sideways himself as he comes down the back straightaway, but he has taken over the 7th spot.
It looked like there was a little slight contact. It didn't look like anything intentional. Cameron Haley, that 98 car, able to get by the 20 of Greg Gaulding as well. Now he jumps to the inside of Brandon Jones.
Yeah, Haley going up to 7th, and he just missed out on winning the season opener at New Smyrna. That great finish for he and Daniel Suarez, and Haley really hasn't been as good as he would like since that time, although he was 3rd a couple of weeks ago at Greenville Pickens to get him back on track a bit.
He started back in the 16th spot today. Now he's made some steady progression towards the front here, now well up into the top 10.
And Greg Gaulding's got some more company there. Jesse Little on his back bumper. And look at Ben Rhodes, the man who's looking to win his 2nd consecutive race, slowly but surely reeling in that 0-0 of Cole Custer. Under 30 laps to go, and we may have a battle for the race lead. Stay with us. You're watching the Blue Ox 100 from Virginia on Fox Sports 1. Business starting to pick up in the Blue Ox 100 ladder stages here at Richmond International Raceway. 5th race of the season for the K&N Pro Series East. Good battle for position here. Austin Hill in the 22 car trying to track down that 43 machine of BRODIE KOSTECKI. This is the battle for 5th.
Yeah, great run for BRODIE. He actually had his career best finish last time out of Greenville. He finished 8th, so nice way to back that good finish up.
And you can take top 5 finishes for granted, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you finish top 5 in this series, you have earned it, because there's a lot of talent, a lot of great owners. This is a special place to be coming up and learning how to drive in NASCAR.
It certainly is. We've talked about some of the people that graduated from this series. Kyle Larson graduated from the series. Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, our winner last year at Martinsville in the Truck Series. So it's extremely difficult division. And as you mentioned, if you can run up front, as we watch Austin Hill try to get that 5th spot from Brodie Kostecki, you've done something.
And this is what's been impressive to me. These young kids go to these tough short tracks, tight quarter racing, and they do it so clean. Austin Hill grabs the 5th spot, no contact, drives to the inside, and we'll see if he can hang on here as the 43 car lurks behind him.
These guys are doing it the right way, Adam. That's why you mentioned earlier that Cameron Haley had such a good run early this year at New Smyrna. He raced the right way. He could have taken Suarez out. He didn't. He took his 2nd place finish. I was extremely impressed.
Well, and what's great, if you go in the garage and you see some of these folks, the camaraderie that the drivers have, it's not budding rivalries. It's friendships that they're developing, that they're carrying up through their racing career. And now Brodie Kostecki's got more company. We talked about Cameron Haley. Here he is trying to work him over for the 6th position, and now they encounter some lap traffic with 21 to go.
Had to duck back in behind Brodie. The 63 car of John Salemi was on the inside. We'll see that 43 car of Kostecki get a little bit loose off the corner. We talked about the forward drive, Adam. All these guys are experiencing these worn tires. Now 80 laps on these tires. That's a long way to go here. They're really having to fight in these cars off the corner.
Well, you saw Kostecki get out of shape there a bit as he comes down the back straightaway. And this battle for 6th happening more than 5 seconds behind race leader Cole Custer. Started outside row 1. Took the top spot away from our pole sitter Nick Drake right at the halfway point, and he's led ever since. Here's Haley opening the inside door, trying to get the 6th spot. He will do it as he drives by Brodie Kostecki.
Yeah, I think Brodie's really struggling with that forward drive up off the corner. Cameron Haley did a nice job using that rounded front straightaway to get a little bit of advantage, get down into turn number 1.
Ben Rhodes going around the lap car of Michael McGuire, making his 2nd start of the season today. Was 10th earlier this year at Bristol. He's a lap down. And Rhodes really hasn't gone away. You know, he closed the gap after the initial restart. Since that time, Cole Custer appears to be just hanging on to his car and doing what he needs to do, managing things now as we have 17 laps remaining.
Yeah, just try to keep that thing under you. Try not to spin those tires off the corner. He's got a nice little 6 car length cushion right now. As long as he can hold on to that, as we have a great battle here. The 29 of Chad Finley and the 20 of Greg Gaulding. Ooh, look at Chad Finley get sideways off the corner.
Driving it hard as he went down the back straightaway.
Who's going to slide up the racetrack almost into the 20 of Greg Gaulding. This is the battle for 11th, just outside the top 10.
This racing reminds me a little bit of the short track just outside Indianapolis and in Claremont. Used to be Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's gone through several different name changes over the years due to sponsorship. But the great side-by-side racing, and it isn't short-lived. I mean, you can stay side-by-side as you look at Finley working the wheel to keep that car underneath Greg Gaulding.
He knows with just 15 laps to go here, he wants this spot. He wants to, trouble for the 42 of Jay Beasley, and the caution is out.
Caution out once again. 6th time today. And that means Cole Custer going to have to endure another restart. In this time, it will be Ben Rhodes in the 2nd position, right front tire down for that 42 of Beasley.
It looks like Jay made slight contact when that right front tire went down with the outside wall. Take a look here, top of your screen. You can see him. You can see that right front tire go down, and nothing he could do about it. He rode it up to the wall.
Phil, you've talked about these drivers slipping and sliding all over this racetrack. No tire change for these guys today, so you really have to manage the tires, I should say. Now you get to the late stages. Cooling down the tires in this circumstance, how much does it help the young men?
It will help a little bit now, but just for a couple laps here. So that's why we want to talk about the fact that on the restart, that's the best time to try to pass somebody. So right now for that 15 car of Nick Drake, he knows he's going to line up on the inside in the third spot. This may be his opportunity to try to at least wrestle second back away from Ben Rhodes.
And what about the day for Nick Drake? First career pole, running third right now, in position to do something really special. Can he get it done? There will be 10 laps remaining when we come back to Richmond. Cole Custer, your race leader. There's a look at our top 5. 10 laps remaining in the Blue Ox 100. Race 5 in 2014 for the K&N Pro Series East. Cole Custer, the race leader. New man outside for the restart, Ben Rhodes, Phil.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes has been so good this entire season, really, and he has an opportunity here to get another win and go back-to-back, but Cole Custer's been strong this entire race.
I don't think he wanted to see the caution that just came out. We'll see how he handles the restart. Good jump as they come out of turn 4 and get the green flag.
Nice restart for Cole Custer. He did his job. Ronnie Bassett spun the tires on the restart. He's lost a spot or two. Now he's fighting back on the outside.
Nearly 3 wide as they come off of turn 2, and there is plenty of room over there, but it wouldn't be the first time today we saw an incident on a restart if they were to get together. You see Jesse Little is there. Looks like Brodie Kostecki right behind him. Cameron Haley. Ronnie Bassett Jr. in the 04 trying to shoot up the middle. 3 wide into 1.
What a great move. He saw a bit of an opening there on the middle of the racetrack, and he took it here. He's on the outside right now with the 98 of Cameron Haley. Was able to get by that 97 of Jesse Little.
Well, Jesse Little had a big wiggle. Then Haley did as he runs right behind Ronnie Bassett Jr. Jones is there, the 20 of Gray Gaulding, and the 81 car of Jeremy Burns. Haven't said a lot about him today, but he's making noise in the latter stages. 7 to go.
Yeah, solid run for Jeremy Burns. He made his debut at Greenville a couple years ago with a runner-up finish. Good run for him.
Look at him making that outside lane work as he gets around Jesse Little and will try to pull in front of him into the corner. He's able to complete the pass.
See the 29 of Chad Finley, the 20 of Gray Gaulding. They're side by side, battling just outside the top 10.
Those 2 cars started up front, have drifted a little bit in the latter stages of this race, but certainly they have had what you would consider positive mornings here in Richmond, Virginia.
Ronnie Bassett has made his way back up to the 5th spot. He restarted in the 4th spot, lost a couple spots on the restart. Here's MACKENA Bell, the 21, Kaz Grala in the 31, side by side at the exit of 4.
And give a call to MACKENA Bell's crew. She was involved in an earlier caution. You can see how the car's been damaged and repaired, and she is hanging tough as once again Finley goes after Gray Gaulding to the inside with 5 coming to 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Cole Custer has a bit of a comfortable lead now, about 3-4 car lengths over Ben Rhodes. Chad Finley now jumps to the inside again. Seems like these guys have been racing side by side for the last 40 laps.
Well, this is a product of Richmond. You can say whatever you want, but I don't care what series you bring to this racetrack. It's going to be entertaining. We saw plenty of it last night in the Nationwide Series. We will see more of it tonight in Sprint Cup competition. And this morning here, the K&N Pro Series East is absolutely delivered a thriller. 3 laps remaining.
You see that 52 car of Matt Tifft. If that car looks familiar, we've seen those colors run by Kenny Schrader so many years. Kenny right now is at Salem, Indiana for an ARCA Racing Series event, and his crew that's pitting that car for Matt Tifft is supposed to be in Salem today.
The rain delay having an impact everywhere. Cole Custer has the advantage. 2 laps remaining. 1.5 miles to his first win of the year in the K&N Pro Series East. Custer earlier this season got the checkered flag running the West race in Phoenix. Ben Rhodes behind him in 2nd. In 3rd is our pole sitter Nick Drake, but since the restart they have had nothing for that 0-0.
Cole Custer right now wants to see that white flag. If the white flag is displayed, which it is, that means we will not have a green-white checker. The next flag is going to finish this thing.
Ben Rhodes hanging tough. He would like to go back-to-back after winning at Greenville Pickens Speedway just a few weeks ago. But it would not appear he's going to have enough time to get to Cole Custer. Custer qualified 2nd, made the pass for the lead at halfway, and he has been in command ever since. Checkered flag, Cole Custer a winner at Richmond.
An outstanding drive by that young man. Ben Rhodes, though, with a great run. Nick Drake, a super 3rd place finish. and Austin Hill made his way up to the 4th place.
And saw all the good battles throughout the day between Gray Gaulding and Chad Finley. They finish 11th and 12th today. You talked about Tift. He comes home 13th. But it's Cole Custer who gets the checkered flag, running a limited schedule in 2014. He doesn't worry about track time. He just worries about trophies. And he's got another one today, winning the Blue Ox 100. 5 races now complete in 2014 for the K&N Pro Series East. And it is Cole Custer who is pulling into victory lane. It was worth the wait for him after things got delayed one evening ago. He's got the victory here at Richmond International Raceway. Let's join in the celebration. KAITLYN VINCIE in victory lane with our most recent winner.
Cole Custer is climbing out of his Napa Haas Automation, winning Chevy here today at Richmond International Raceway, jumping into the hands of his teammates. Congratulations, Cole. You started 2nd today. Dominant race car. Stayed up front pretty much the entire race. What does this win mean to you?
I mean, it's great. I mean, we came so close last year, just didn't save our tires enough. But, I mean, I rode behind Nick there for a while, and he pushed it a little bit, but he was still saving his tires, and I just saved a little bit more, and then I got him on that restart. I thought I went a little bit too early, but it turned out all right. Still didn't have too much at the end, but it was definitely better than everybody else. So I just got to thank my crew and Napa Auto Parts, great sponsor, and Haas Automation and Gene Haas.
Now, your season started out on a good run. You won at Phoenix. What can you say about this season so far?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, I think coming in this year, we wanted to win every race that we were in, but didn't get to do that at Bristol. But, I mean, coming here, it's awesome to win here, and just hopefully we can get a couple more in the year.
Congratulations, Cole. Cole Custer is a winner here at Richmond International Raceway. Adam?
Well, KAITLYN, time will tell what kind of driver he will end up being and where his career will go. But he's got one thing down. He wants to win every race he's in, Phil.
Yeah, that's a good plan, too. But what great runs, top 5 finishes for Ben Rhodes, Nick Drake, our pole sitter, Austin Hill, and Ronnie Bassett Jr.
Talked a lot about Kaz Grala today, ends up 14th. And MACKENA Bell, after being involved in an accident, they repair the damage. She ends up in the 15th position today. Lee Pulliam has been a guy that spent a lot of time at the front of the field, was 21st.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers had trouble. We're going to see Daniel SUAREZ here. Going to be a tough break for him back in the 32nd spot as he makes his way to Monterrey, Mexico for another race.
Ben Rhodes couldn't go back-to-back after winning at Greenville Pickens, but he was a runner-up, and right now he's with KAITLYN.
Thanks, Adam. I'm joined by Ben Rhodes, who finished 2nd today, another top 5 finish. Had a fast race car. Did you think you had anything for Cole Custer, though?
Well, you know, there at the end, I actually closed up on his bumper on the last lap. I think he started overdriving it a little bit, and he was doing a really good job. I think he was faster than me, but once he started overdriving, it allowed me to get up to his bumper. But I don't know. We were struggling all day in practice trying to get the exit of the corner, get me some more forward driving. Right where I was, you know, loose, that's where Cole would pull me. So I was able to get to him going into the corner, but he'd pull me off. So he had a good car. We had a really good car, but, you know, really glad for him. He's a good guy.
And still the points leader.
Yeah, still the points leader. Great points day. I can't be more excited about that.
Ben Rhodes collecting his 4th top 5 of the year here at Richmond International Raceway. Adam?
Consistency is key if you're going to win a championship. The advantage now for Ben Rhodes in the title chase, 18 over Gray Gaulding, Cameron Haley, Daniel SUAREZ, Jesse Little make up the top 5 as we hear from the man who finished 3rd.
Thanks, Adam. I'm joined by Nick Drake finishing 3rd here today. Not a bad day for your Richmond debut.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I led a bunch of laps. It was my first laps led in the series. I just got to thank everyone at Bill McAnally Racing, Haas Automation, Napa Auto Parts, Toyota. It was a good weekend for us. To get at the pole, rebound like that from Bristol and Greenville. We blew a tire at Bristol. And we just got back on track here and come home top 3, and Cole got the win. So that was a good day for all of us.
Nick Drake started on the pole, ended up 3rd here today at Richmond. Adam?
Certainly a good effort for the young driver out of Mooresville, North Carolina. So it's Cole Custer who gets to celebrate today in Richmond. A little bit of a delay, but it was worth the wait for him. Next up, when you talk about K&N action, we go out west. The Stockton 150 from Stockton 99 Speedway in Stockton, California. You can watch the broadcast on Fox Sports 1. It happens on Friday, May 9th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Quite a day in Richmond, Phil.
Yeah, Nick Drake was strong early. We had a little bit of trouble here on some restarts. Kenzie Ruston getting the worst of that one. It looks like a little bit of a tire rub for Josh Berry. And this is actually as a caution came out at the exit of turn number 2. Some cars get together.
We certainly had problems. You always do when you come to a short track. Smooth sailing for Cole Custer, who gets the checkered flag today. With Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander. Special thanks to KAITLYN VINCIE. So long from Richmond. We'll see you next time.